Let me share something that might hit hard. Most people spend their days discussing what they'll achieve. They proclaim their goals, share their ambitions, and advertise their visions. But when it's time to rise early, stay late, and grind through challenges, they're nowhere to be found. Pay close attention. The world doesn't care about your words. It rewards your outcomes. You're not compensated for intentions, you're paid for action. The person who quietly works while others brag becomes unstoppable, not because they're proving a point, but because they're focused on progress. If you're fed up with the chatter, the delays, the near misses, it's time to change your approach. Talk less, act more, and let your achievements shout for you. Stay tuned, because in this video, I'll guide you on transforming from a dreamer to a doer, from potential to impact. Let's dive in. Words come easily, effort is scarce. Here's a fundamental truth. Talking is simple, but action shapes your reality. Words are cheap, they cost nothing. You can share your aspirations, your strategies, your dreams, and it might feel like a step forward. But don't be deceived. Words are just the trailer. Work is the feature. I'm not here to demotivate you. I'm here to spark awareness, to create a life of purpose, wealth, and self-respect. You must distinguish between talking and doing. Too many people mistake discussion for accomplishment. They believe shouting their plans repeatedly will make them real. But the true power lies in action. Effort brings results. Persistence delivers change. When I was younger, full of dreams but lacking focus, I'd tell everyone I'd launch a company, read more, or get fit. I got encouragement, nods of approval, but no progress, because I hadn't put in the work. Words, my friend, can't replace hustle. You don't get fitter by discussing workouts, richer by chatting about money, or wiser by mentioning books. You must act, show up, and persevere. Here's a rule: the law of fading intent. The longer you delay acting on your words, the less likely you'll follow through. Declare it Monday, wait till Friday, and you're already drifting toward inaction. So, what's the fix? Create a system for action. Control your words and raise your standards, not just for what you say, but for what you complete. If you commit to it, do it. If you plan it, honor it. If you dream it, pursue it with action, not just words. The gap between success and struggle isn't brains, talent, or schooling. It's follow-through. It's the rare soul who quietly, steadily, relentlessly does what they promised. Most are merely curious. Few are truly dedicated. Curious people talk about desires. Dedicated people work for them. And here's the twist. When you grind daily without fanfare, your results speak for you. Success has a voice. It echoes through your finances, your health, your connections, your routines. That voice doesn't deceive. So don't seek to dazzle others with your plans. Aim to astonish yourself with your actions. No need to flaunt your effort. Just work. Let others see you soar, and let your discipline do the talking. Because ultimately, anyone can claim success, but the one who earns it says little. They show up, do the work, and the world takes note. Here's your task today. Halve your talking, double your doing. Quiet the chatter, amplify the action. In a world of voices, the one who acts leads. Remember, words are easy, effort is rare. Be rare. Let's keep going. Action forges identity, not promises. Here's a bold truth. You don't build character by making vows. You build it by keeping them. Not once, not when it's easy, but repeatedly, especially when it's tough. Words show your intent, but actions define who you are. Character isn't proclaimed. It's proven, not in the spotlight, but in the quiet moments when no one watches. Anyone can claim discipline, but the person who rises at 5 a.m. to train, they embody it. Anyone can say they're dedicated, but the one who works without applause, they live it. It's not what you declare you are, it's what you prove through action, repetition, resolve. Promises are everywhere. People vow to change, to start, to be different. But you don't rise to your promises, you sink to your habits. Vows feel good briefly, impress momentarily, but crumble without follow-through. To build real character, not just image or hype, shift from saying to doing and do it consistently. Character grows in daily choices, choosing honesty, following through, doing what's right even when it's hard. Your actions shape your identity. Every choice, every repetition is a vote for who you're becoming. Are you voting for the person who quits or the one who endures? Are you choosing excuses or solutions? Character isn't built by quotes. It's forged by commitment, showing up, choosing integrity when unseen. You'll never regret doing what's right, even if unnoticed. Your soul notices. Each action aligned with your values strengthens your core. It's tempting to impress with words, to make grand vows, but talk fades, habits endure. Be cautious what you promise, mindful what you practice. It's not the vow that shapes you, it's the process, the follow-through. Stop chasing praise, chase alignment. Build a life that needs no explanation. Character is earned in the grind, proven when you act despite reluctance. So, rise, show up, become who you vowed to be, not through words, but through action. Promises fade, character resonates. Let's continue. Don't debate, progress. Here's a liberating principle for success. Don't debate, progress. It's tempting to justify yourself, defend your choices, argue with skeptics, or prove every point. But every moment spent debating steals energy from your progress. You don't advance by being right. You advance by doing what's right. Success doesn't favor the loudest. It rewards the one who keeps moving while others talk. You don't need to convince critics or explain to everyone. Most who argue aren't listening. They're waiting to respond. Let them doubt, misunderstand, talk. Every second spent proving is a second not improving. Early on, people questioned my ambitions. Why work so hard? Why chase that idea? I'd argue, explain, try to sway them. Then I realized, I don't need to win debates. I need to win the day. So, I stopped reacting to every jab and started progressing, not with noise, but with results. Progress persuades better than words. Build it, and they'll believe. Achieve it, and they'll respect. Live it, and no defense is needed. Success silences debates. Don't argue with those who've built nothing. Don't waste wisdom on those set on misunderstanding. While you're explaining, someone else is executing, passing you, not because they're smarter, but because they kept moving. When mocked, stay silent and build. When doubted, double your focus. When pulled into petty disputes, rise above, move forward. Prove your worth with work, not words. Stop trying to be understood by those who don't understand themselves. You weren't called to convince, you were called to progress. Every step forward, every focused moment, every silent effort, that's power. When you feel the urge to argue, pause. Ask, do I want to be right or effective? Then return to your craft, your vision, your momentum. Success doesn't need a speech, it needs your focus. Don't debate, progress. Let's move forward. Don't advertise, construct. One of the biggest errors today is this. People promote what they haven't created. They talk about dreams before laying foundations, hype projects before lifting tools. They seek praise before earning progress. Here's wisdom. You don't gain strength by announcing gym plans. You gain it by lifting weights. In a world of noise and notifications, it's easy to think visibility equals victory. It doesn't. Exposure isn't achievement. Announcing isn't building. I'm not saying never share, but share the results, not the intentions. Let the work stay quiet. Let the outcomes roar. There's power in building silently, a strength forged when no one watches. That work isn't about acclaim, it's about purpose. It's not about followers, it's about foundations. Who's stronger, the person who declares their goals or the one who builds quietly and lets the world notice? You know the answer. Early announcements invite distractions, doubts, delays. Worse, They trick your brain into thinking you've achieved something. Talking isn't doing. Proclaiming isn't not delivering. Posting isn't progress. While you're explaining your vision, someone else is quietly building it. So, get focused. Write the plan, take the first step, then the next. Not to impress, but to improve. Let your life be the proof. Your progress, the voice. Your discipline, the statement. Every private hour spent building compounds. One day it emerges, not as a whisper, but as a legacy. Silent success is the strongest. It's built on work, wisdom, patience, not noise. Don't rush to be seen. Rush to be exceptional. Don't hurry to proclaim, hurry to become. When the work is solid, the world will seek it out. They'll seek you. You won't need to explain. You'll stand firm, proven, and let the work speak. So, don't advertise, construct. Let what you've built become the announcement. Let's move on. The power of restraint. Today, I want to share a rare strength. Restraint. It's not a common word, but it could be the difference between success and almost succeeding. We're taught how to speak, but not when to stay silent. And that's a vital skill. Restraint is discipline. It's knowing what to share and what to keep close. It's guarding your energy, vision, and focus, not from fear, but from purpose. Every word you speak spends something: time, focus, intent. If you're not careful, you can waste your strength seeking approval when you should be building progress. I'm not saying stay mute forever, but some things, your goals, your growth, your peace, deserve protection, not publicity. Don't share your dreams with those who won't value them. Don't waste effort convincing those set on misunderstanding. Don't leak momentum by revealing plans to untrusted ears. The more you grow, the more you see. Privacy is strength. When you stop explaining to everyone, you free yourself to focus on what matters. A lion doesn't roar before hunting. It moves with purpose, silently, and strikes when ready. That's restraint. When building something meaningful, a business, a transformation, a comeback, keep it close. Nurture it quietly. Young dreams are fragile. They need time to root before they rise. Share too soon, and you invite noise, doubt, opinions. Instead, shield your process, guard your growth, let your actions grow in peace. Restraint isn't weakness, it's strategy, power-controlled. It says, I don't need approval or applause. I'm too busy building. Restraint also means choosing your battles. Not every conversation deserves your voice, not every dispute your time. Some will drag you into drama or delay. Let them talk, post, judge. You keep building. What matters isn't what you told, but what you showed. So, be selective with your words, mindful of your audience, careful with your time. The strongest person is often the quietest, not proving, just becoming. Master restraint. Protect your plan, preserve your peace, proceed with purpose. Let's keep moving. Speak less to others, more to yourself. Here's a powerful shift. To transform your life, change the conversation you have with yourself. Too many focus outward, explaining dreams, justifying errors, proving something. But the tragedy is, they spend little time inward. They talk at others, not with themselves. They persuade the world, but neglect their own soul. Your greatest guide is within you, the voice that knows your shortcuts, your missed chances. That's the voice to train, to hear, to speak to. Speaking less outwardly preserves your energy. The more you seek external approval, the more you lose focus. But when you redirect that energy inward, you gain control over your focus, your mood, your path. What do you tell yourself daily? Are you criticizing before others can? Is fear louder than your future? Or are you speaking strength, giving yourself direction, leading your mind with purpose? Your life follows your inner voice, not your posts or status. To build confidence, don't announce it. Coach yourself. To stay consistent, don't explain your grind. Remind yourself why it matters. To grow, don't seek permission. Direct your thoughts, lead yourself first. The most successful have the strongest inner voices, not the loudest outer ones. They speak order to chaos, encouragement to doubt, truth when alone. They don't post it, they live it. So, say less to others. Let your results speak, your life shine. But to yourself, say more, clearly, daily, until it becomes you. When the world quiets, when no one watches, your inner voice decides what's next. Make it strong, truthful, forward-pulling. Say less to the world, more to yourself, and your results will say it all. Let's keep going. Steadiness outlasts flair. Here's a truth that will shape your future. Flair may open doors, but steadiness keeps you inside. Charm and personality help, but dependability wins. The world is full of fleeting stars. They dazzle briefly, talk big, inspire with energy, then fade when the excitement wanes. Flair starts things, steadiness completes them. You don't need to be loud to be legendary or impress everyone to improve everything. Just show up daily with purpose. Picture a man hitting the gym once a month, going all out, posting the moment, earning likes. Then nothing. No routine, no progress. Now picture another, training 4 times a week. No fanfare, just steady effort. A year later, who's stronger? You know. Greatness isn't built in flashes. It's forged in routines, in discipline, in persisting when you don't feel like it. Flair inspires crowds. Steadiness builds legacies. It's not what you do once, it's what you do repeatedly. Want wealth? Invest steadily. Want respect? Show up reliably. Want mastery? Practice consistently. Steadiness is the compound interest of self-worth. It's not glamorous or fun. It's doing what's needed, with or without applause. Most won't do it. They'll chase excitement or wait for motivation. But you must be different. Master steadiness, and you don't need to be the smartest, loudest, or most gifted. Just present when others quit. Each kept promise, each repeated habit strengthens your foundation. Flair turns heads, steadiness wins trust. Flair launches dreams, steadiness fulfills them. Don't chase the spotlight, chase the routine. You won't be remembered for flash, but for what you finished. Steadiness builds character, trust, everything. Stay steady, grounded, faithful. Flair gets attention. Steadiness gives something worth hearing. Let's move on. Outcomes outshine oratory. Here's a golden truth that's driven every success I've known. Results are the final say, not pledges, not intentions, not eloquent speeches or witty posts. Results are concrete, measurable, undeniable. At some point, people stop hearing your words and start judging your delivery. Don't misinterpret me. Communication matters. A stirring speech can motivate, a great story can shift perspectives. But your performance crafts your legacy. Results don't need hype, excuses, or clarification. You don't need to prove your success when your life already demonstrates it. Picture a farmer. He doesn't yell about sowing seeds or boast about his toil. He tends the land, waters the crops, rises early, invests the hours. Eventually, the harvest speaks for him. That's results. That's authority. That's leadership without preaching. Here's the tough truth. Results demand effort. They require steadfastness, sacrifice, and focus long before they yield rewards. But they're worth it. When you create something valuable, a business, a skill, a reputation, you don't need to justify it. You display it, and it earns respect without fanfare. Focus on results, and 3 things happen. First, your confidence grows. You don't need external approval because you have proof. Second, your circle shifts. Talkers fade, doers gravitate toward you. Third, you trust yourself, not for what you wish, but for what you've achieved. Every day is a tally, every choice a seed, every hour spent acting builds the life you claim to want. You don't need to debate skeptics, justify to critics, or convince anyone you're legitimate, because the real deal shows up, delivers, and lets results speak. I'm not saying never speak. I'm saying let your actions lead. Let your habits write your story, your effort tell your tale, your contributions define your worth. When someone asks, "How'd you do it?" You won't need a speech. You'll just say, I put in the work. So plant the seed, tend the soil, log the hours, keep your word. Results don't murmur or hint. They roar. Let your life speak so boldly through what you create that no one questions who you are. Let's continue. Silent effort yields bold success. Here's a truth the crowd won't tell you. You don't need to shout to succeed. You don't need to share every step or proclaim your goals. You just need to work, quietly, relentlessly, without applause. We live in an attention-obsessed world. Everyone craves visibility, validation. But here's a question few ask. Would you still grind if no one noticed? Would you rise early, stay late, give your all without a single nod, like, or cheer? That's where greatness is forged. Silent effort is the purest discipline. It separates the curious from the committed, the talkers from the builders, the fleeting from the fierce. Anyone can play the part briefly, but the one who grinds in silence, hour after hour, becomes unstoppable. I've seen it repeatedly. The loud fade, the flashy falter, but the quiet workers rise, slowly, steadily, suddenly everywhere. Not because they shouted, but because they showed up, stayed focused, put in the reps when others wouldn't. Private discipline yields public rewards. Every book read in solitude, every early morning trained alone, every extra effort, every quiet choice to persist. It compounds. One day, your results are so loud they speak for you. You don't need to explain, impress, or prove. Success introduces itself. Silent effort isn't timid or weak. It's deliberate, focused, undistracted, rare. Most get trapped in noise, talking about starting, posting about planning, announcing before acting. But silent effort swaps instant gratification for lasting achievement. You trade applause for respect. You don't need to hide or fear success, but you must earn it. In the quiet, the grind, the unseen hours when it's just you, your discipline, and your resolve. So, silence the noise, ignore the doubts, and work. Silent effort doesn't mean small dreams. It means serious ones. You're done performing, you're ready to produce. Build when it's dull, push when it's tough, grow when no one claps. The world will hear you soon, not because you spoke loudly, but because you built something real. Silent effort, bold success. Let's continue. Become someone worth discussing. Here's a final truth to tie it all together. Don't chase attention. Become someone people can't help but discuss. Too many seek fame, to be seen, to go viral. But ask, are you becoming someone worth remembering? Being noticed is easy. Be loud, flashy, or provocative, and eyes turn. But being respected, admired, that's earned through who you become. The world has plenty who say the right things, but vanish when it's time to live them. Don't be that person. Be the one whose life aligns with their words, who delivers, who builds something real. What do you want your name to mean? Discipline? Integrity? Reliability? That reputation comes from habits, from doing what's right when it's dull, from sticking to values when it's tough, from choosing the long path over shortcuts. To stand out in a noisy world, build something lasting, skills, wisdom, trust. Don't just build a brand, build your character. When your work is strong, your word true, people notice, remember, talk, not because you asked, but because your life demands it. You become the example, the one they point to, saying, that's discipline. That's what steadiness builds. You don't need to chase light when you're forging fire. Stop worrying about what's said. Focus on who you're becoming. Don't beg for respect. Live in a way that earns it. Don't wish for legacy. Work for it. One day, people will speak of you, not for clever words, but for a powerful life. That's a reputation no one can take. Stop performing. Become. When your work is real, your values firm, your life speaks first, and people listen. Let's wrap it up. You've heard the call, felt the push. It's not what you say, it's what you do. Want a life of impact, influence, and strength? Stop explaining. Build a life that speaks for itself. The world doesn't need more opinions, it needs examples. Not the loudest, but the truest. You don't need to defend your dreams when you're living them. You don't need to justify choices when results prove them. You don't need to explain habits when your life shows their fruit. That's freedom, when your routine becomes your reputation, your values visible, your discipline your destiny. You no longer persuade, you become. Doubters will always exist, those who miss the process and see only the outcome. That's not your focus. Your task is to build, brick by brick, day by day, quietly, faithfully, relentlessly. When you create something real, live with integrity, your life becomes undeniable. No press, no shouts, no chase for approval. Your work, your being, says more than words ever could. Let your discipline speak, your results shine, your impact resonate. When asked, "Why so quiet?" smile and say, "I'm too busy becoming." Work your plan, guard your time, honor your word, finish your tasks, keep your standards. Build a life so rooted in truth, so rich in discipline, so abundant in results, it needs no explanation. That's the mission, the legacy. Speak less, do more, and become all you're meant to be.